right. There we go. Meeting is now streaming live on Facebook. What's up, Jeff? How you
Hey,
doing, dude?
what's up, Greg? I'm doing good, man.
Good. Hi, Facebook. Thanks for coming through on here. Really quickly, I'm going to try to keep this in under half an hour. I know I'm not particularly good about that, but let's see what I can do. Um, so I'll let you know a little bit about Jeff. He and I met at a poker game about a year and a half ago. We got to talking, found out we were both super interested in real estate. And the more I talked to him, the more I realized that our values aligned on what real estate can do for an individual. And since then, we've kind of just kept in contact. We still play poker together, and we've gotten dinner a few times. But what he does is he invests in large multifamily properties in Arizona. And he's got his own company with his own partner, and he's doing fantastic things. And he started this when he was in his 20s. But, anyways, say hi to the people, Jeff.
Hey, everyone. What's up?
Cool. So, right off the bat, what is a syndication and what does it like? What is it? What is a syndication? I don't really get it. Maybe some of these folks don't get it. Explain it to us, please.
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, oftentimes, it kind of sounds like, like a word that like you've kind of heard it a lot with like, yeah, criminal stuff, criminal syndication, but that's totally not it. And it's very interesting. So it's pretty much just people, yeah, pulling their money in order to, yeah, buy something. And those people that are, in the deal is there's usually, yeah, two parties. There's like the managing, yeah, members, and then there's people that are just a passive investor. And you could do this with pretty much any kind of business. You could do it with, hotels, a car wash. What else have I seen? ATM machines,
Oh, cool.
a multifamily. So yeah, or you being in that industry in the past, like I think there's um, a lot of TV shows that are also a syndication also.
Yeah, definitely. So let me see if I understand it. It is essentially a crowd-funded way to buy stuff that's more expensive than the average human could buy on their own. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Cool.
Like,
So,
instead of trying to buy a multi-million dollar business all on your own, you could get, yeah, 20 people and, yeah, benefit from owning that business.
cool. And how did you get into that? Like, what was the first step that you took that you ended up being like, oh, syndication, that's right for me and my style? Like, what was the trigger that made you excited about syndicating properties?
Yeah, so I kind of stumbled across it. I didn't really know what it was. I didn't really have that intention initially. So I was trying to buy a multifamily property around Los Angeles, but it's extremely expensive. So then, yeah, me and a good buddy of mine, yeah, Tommy, we went out of state, and what we were trying to buy was a 12 unit up to a 20-plex. But then we came across a really good deal this was a 40 unit property.
Wow.
This was outside of our budget. But yeah, we were like, oh man, the numbers look good. How can we make this happen? So instead of us being like, no, there's no way that we can do it. Yeah, we were like, okay, how can we do it? So we were like, okay, what if we bring in investors? Like I could talk to a couple friends. And that's how I stumbled across it. And as we were doing that, we learned the hard way of like, okay, there's a lot more to it than just, asking friends. There's a lot of legal paperwork. There's a bunch of other stuff, yeah, going on. It's pretty much like a stock
Mm,
you,
okay.
have, and then each person will get a number of shares.
Nice. Okay, cool. So do you have to like I I'm kind of leading you on to this question here, but do you have to like register with the SEC at all and make sure your ducks are all in a row?
Oh yeah, you do. So because anytime you have a passive investor, then it becomes a security. So because of that, you have to do what they call, you have to register it, but it's not registered as a stock. What you're doing is you're getting what they call I'm sorry, an exemption,
Mm,
because in order to try to register, it takes years and years. And by the time that you go through that, you've already lost the deal. So
Right on.
there's a way to try to fast track that.
Fair enough. Okay, cool. When did you get started? At what age did you start doing this?
I got my real estate agent license on the side because at the time I'm an engineer, and then I got it on the side in 2013,
Hmm.
doing a couple sales a year just to kind of get my feet wet. And I didn't really start looking into multifamily until 2017.
Cool. So 3 years you've been doing this.
Yeah.
Right on. And it's paid off, I'm assuming, because otherwise you wouldn't be talking to me.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I don't feel like talking about my fuck ups. Well, cool. Okay, so what's the typical minimum time that I have to like? What's the typical minimum that I have to bring in to you to invest in you and your company? So let's just say you find a property, you're looking for partners, you're looking for uh, bidders, people who have never invested before. How much money is the minimum amount that you take to apply towards property?
It really depends for like each and every company will have their own kind of minimum. With us, we do around like 50,000. Um, in the past, we have lowered it before, depending on if other investors are like able to invest a larger amount.
Hmm.
But typically, it's around like 50,000.
Okay, and what does that $50,000 buy us? What does it buy for the investor?
Yeah. So what it does is it gives them ownership into the company that owns the property. So, like let's say we have there's an apartment building that we're buying. It's 100 units,
Hmm.
and um, so if you invest that amount, then you would get a percentage of that LLC that owns the apartment. So because of that, you also get to have depreciation and a lot of the other tax benefits of owning property as well.
Okay, yeah, there's a lot that goes into tax benefits when it comes to real estate. And if correct me if I'm wrong, but large multifamily properties, the taxes are very kind to the investor. Is that right?
Yeah. So not everyone, depending on what your tax situation is able to like fully benefit from it, but there's still a lot of advantages.
Cool. And would you say that that's like a large reason why people ultimately get into this, or are they more looking for somewhere to park their money and get some cash flow?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think the cool part is it really depends on what people are looking for. Like there are some people where they're at a stage where they're just trying to look for paper losses. So
Hmm.
even though a property has cash flow, they want a lot of write-offs. There's other people where they want more cash flow. So because of that, they're going to like there's um there's like different kinds of properties that you can try to go for. Like if a property needs a lot of value add, then then it might not cash flow as much,
Hmm.
but there's more equity growth there. So it really depends on what people are going for.
Cool, cool, cool. Do you mind really quickly explaining to the crew what paper loss is?
Yeah, sure. So um it's so with real estate, one of the benefits is that you can benefit from a thing called depreciation.
Okay.
Just to put it in like a simple way, imagine you have a computer, and over time, that computer is not really worth as much because it gets older, and it starts to break. So you are able to write that off. Like if you have $1,000 computer, you can write it off, $200 every year until it goes down to zero. With real estate, you can do the same thing as well with the building. And because you know the amount, or because of the price of the property, you get a lot of paper, or you get a lot of depreciation,
Hmm.
where your depreciation is more than the cash flow itself. And even if you're cash flowing like let's say 8%, then if your depreciation is more than that, you don't have to pay any taxes on that cash flow that year. Eventually yeah, you are gonna have to pay it, but you're able to like defer it and just have it become like a snowball that just it keeps on growing and growing.
How long can you defer that for?
You can defer that indefinitely.
So literally until you die.
Yeah, until you
And
die, which is
and
nice.
so do your kids have to pay for those taxes?
They don't get to inherit your paper losses.
Cool. That's what we needed to know. All right, man. What's one mistake, if any, that you did when you were learning about commercial real estate, and how do you avoid
Oh man, I have a lot.
it?
Um, One thing that really helped me out was that when I was looking to buy properties, I um, I created a system where it's like I know my requirements,
Hmm.
and if the requirements and if the property is not in that requirement, it's just a hard pass, because then
Hmm.
what happens is that you're going to spend a lot of time just trying to chase things. So with me, when we were looking in at the time, we were looking around Omaha, Nebraska.
Hmm.
We were looking in a very certain area with properties between X amount of units, between property age of from X to Y.
Hmm.
And the more focused you are on that, then just things start to happen a lot more.
Mm.
There's a book I really like. It's called The One Thing by Gary Keller.
Yeah.
And it just talks about how as soon as you start to focus, just like a bunch of doors start to open up because of just having that
Yeah.
crazy laser vision.
Totally. Yeah. That laser vision is something he preaches a lot. But so what was the mistake that you made that you were like, oh crap, can't do that again?
A couple things. So I'll just go. Yeah, I know I could go through a handful, but uh, one of them was that we didn't have requirements. So we were trying to chase properties all over the place, different cities. Um, it was taking a lot of time and a lot of energy.
Hmm.
And when you are trying to look for deals, you want to be like extremely responsive, but we were just overwhelmed
Mm.
at the time. So that really helped out a lot.
Okay, cool. And then you kind of said it already, but essentially you making sure you had your requirements kept you focused and made sure that you got laser focused, right?
Yeah.
Right on. So what do you currently have under your belt? Like what properties, how many units, what do they look like? Is it like 2, 3, 18? What are you looking at?
Oh yeah. So currently I have a single family property over in California, a property in Omaha, and then apartment buildings in like the Phoenix area. In total, we have 473 units across
Wow.
four complexes. Ranging from 94 units up to 164.
Damn.
We partner with Whitehaven Capital on that, and so pretty much just trying to grow in that area. And I really like that area a lot. So like I'm out there every couple months, usually.
Cool. And when you mean that you partner with New Haven, is that what it was? Yeah, Capital. What
Yeah.
does that mean?
Oh yeah. So like the cool thing about multifamily or just being in a syndication is that there are different ways where you can be a part of it, because essentially it's a business and there's
Hmm.
a lot of different kind of functions. So Whitehaven Capital, they are the boots on the ground, the operators. They are out there almost all day every day. They like if there's a lead, they're able to go out like um like almost instantly. So they live about 20 minutes away from like the property. So they're
Cool.
extremely hands-on.
So you don't need to be there all the time either.
Yeah, because as a multifamily investor, as a syndicator, the cool thing is, or even just as investor, you can choose to be as passive as you want, or as active.
What's the difference between an active investor and a passive investor?
Yeah, sure. So like I would say a passive investor is what they call a limited partner,
Okay.
LP. And imagine you're like, a silent partner where like you are a part of the deal, you have ownership, but um, you're more along, yeah, for the ride. Like if you're in a plane, you're a passenger on that plane.
Okay. Cool. So that's a passive investor. And what's an active investor?
So being an active investor means that you're a part of the management team or what they call a general partnership,
Hmm.
which means like if you're in a plane, you're like, in the cockpit or you're, a part of the crew.
Cool.
And um, to make a deal happen, there's a bunch of different roles. So like each person on a team can they have a different role, yeah, that they fill.
Cool. Are you a general partner or a limited partner?
I am both. So I am a general partner, but then also, I want to put my money into the deals as well because those are deals that I'm a part of and, I believe in them.
Hmm.
And if I'm also bringing other people along into those deals as well, you know, it's like I wouldn't want other people or like I wouldn't tell other people about a deal unless I'm in it as well and I have that confidence. Yeah.
So you're
You-
putting your money where your mouth is.
yeah, exactly.
Cool, man. Okay, so you started in 2017, like into large multifamilies, right?
Yeah.
Um, from the moment that you started that, you were already working as an engineer, correct?
Yeah. Correct.
So let's just say you started in 2017. When did you leave your normal day job and start doing consulting as an engineer?
Yeah. That's a good question. I was doing so I left my normal day job in early 2019. So that's when that happened. And like from 2017 to 2019, that's when I was able to test the waters. I was, able to see like, the potential and like what kind of gains that, we were getting. And it it gave me more opportunity to jump out on my own as an engineer to where I can have more control over my time, and so that way I'm able to go into business over there as well.
Cool. Yeah, that's really cool. That's something that's super interesting to me, and I know it's probably interesting to some people who are watching this. As like,
Yeah.
I'm like an artist. That's my first love. That's what I do. And to hear that like you had a normal 9 to 5 job, and in less than 2 years,
Yeah.
about 2 years, you were like, all right, let me peace out, and I can do something a little bit more experimental and take more risks. Because ultimately, I think that's personally what I like about real estate is that it's like there are risks involved, but there are ways that you can minimize the downturns, and they're fairly, excuse me, they're fairly predictable. So what I like to tell people is like get into real estate so that you could, as like white collar as that may be, you can then pursue whatever passion that you want, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So what's your passion? Like why are you doing this? What's your big why?
Ah. I so with me, I love to go snowboarding. Like I'm a snowboard. Yeah. That's the number one thing I love. Like if I could do it all day, every day, yeah, then I would. So yeah.
Cool. So vacationing, that's what that's cool. Yeah, yeah. So what else like would you tell somebody that instead of getting into syndication but just do small like flips or small multifamilies, they're just getting into real estate, would you tell them don't worry about that, just do large syndicated, or would you say try a little bit of both, or would you say um, just invest your money with me as a limited partner and you'll get the gains of both things and do whatever you want? What's your advice for somebody who's just getting into this?
Cool. Yeah, that's a good question. And I think I don't really, like to say this, but it depends because, let's say hypothetically you're a doctor or, so like imagine you're, a doctor and you don't really have a lot of time on your hands. Then, at that point it's opportunity cost. Like the way I like to think of it is what's your highest and best like way that you can try to use your time. Like as a doctor, it'd be hard to like try to make a bunch of cold calls during lunch.
Sure.
Like like to try to get a deal. So but yeah, maybe as a doctor there's a lot of other things that you can do as well. So maybe you can be on a team where another person is able to try to find the deals, but you are helping to bring in capital with other doctors.
Hmm.
um, so it really depends, but I would say that there isn't really a wrong way. I think it really depends on your lifestyle, what you're trying to go for, and like what you already have going on. Like if I was in my early, like if I was in my early 20s, I would definitely get started with us with a single family, and then try to build up there, and then if you still want to be super active, you can be an operator, which means you're like boots on the ground, trying to look for deals. But then if you you know or but then if you don't want to be as active, then maybe you'd rather be a passive investor
Hmm.
or like a smaller role in a general partnership.
Do you mind getting into a little bit about what the payout looks like? So if I came to you with $50,000 or whatever it is that that deal requires, what would I expect in return in terms of like cash?
Sure. So I can't really talk about my specific deal because of
Sure, of course, yeah,
because of like a lot of securities laws.
yeah.
But um, for multifamily, if it's a value add, it's pretty typical to like try to see around 18% IRR every year, which would
Mm,
for like about a 5-year hold, that would be about 2 times equity. So whatever a person puts in would be about 2 times as much. There are deals that so just as a whole, in the industry, there are some operators that are able to, hit those numbers a lot more accurately because they're a lot more conservative, or there are some that
mhm,
underperform.
mhm. What do you mind explaining really quick what IRR is?
Yeah, sure. So it's a way of like calculating what your return is, and like it could get kind of complicated, but the easiest way to understand it is like IRR is what your return would be, but
Hmm.
it accounts for the but it also accounts for the amount of time that has passed as well. So like let's say you invest $100,000 and you get 100, and then you get a return of another $100,000 after 10 years. Or as opposed to that, you get $10,000 each and every year until it adds up to 100,000. So as a total number, it's it's the same still, right? It's
Yeah.
100,000, but you have to account for like the value of time, because when you get that so like in that other example, when you get that $10,000, like you're able to invest that into another thing.
Hmm.
So
And that's not accounting for the paper losses that we took into consideration or the tax benefits that we had talked about already,
yeah.
which is another whole basket of fun. Um, but for example, let's just say somebody's like, I like what Jeff is saying. It makes sense to me. What's baby step number one? What's the very first thing that you would recommend somebody to do that what you're talking about? What would you tell them to go do?
Oh yeah. So if you're wanting to be a passive investor, then a great way would be to connect with people that are doing that are doing multifamily syndication,
Hmm.
or also other kind of syndications. If you want to be a bit more active, then you can go to like real estate meetups,
Hmm.
conferences. Um, there's a book that just came out maybe like a month ago that I think is a really good book. It's called Hands Off Investor
Hands
by
off investor.
a
Okay.
guy named Brian Burke, and he's just you know, he's been in the industry for a long time, so he's and the way that he breaks it down is amazing as well. So
Nice. Okay, I'll link that in the bio, guy. Hands-off investor. Okay, I think that's about it, man. Do you have anything else? Any parting words you want to leave with the folks? If they wanted to come invest with you, how do they reach out?
oh great, yeah. So the best way to reach out to me would be on our website. So that website's going to be firstchaircapital.com. So that's so that's going to be FIRST chair at capital.com.
Cool.
I'm on Instagram as well. That's underscore AYE. It's Jeff underscore,
Nice.
like underscore A, it's Jeff.
Hey, it's Jeff. All right, I'll tag both of those things down below in the comment section, and I'll throw it on the YouTube description as well, so they know how to get out to you. But Jeff, man, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you. What you do is awesome, and I'm very excited for what the future holds for you.
Hey, thanks for having me, Greg.
Yeah, of course. Take it easy, brother.
All right, I'll see
Bye.
you. Bye.